Good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. And for some reason, I don't see a chat box again today. That makes me so sad. I want to be with you. Good morning. You like my mug? It's because this house is full of big dogs. I love big dogs. Yeah, I'm not afraid. They're just huge. That's all. There's only one big dog who actually lives in this house, but my cousins keep bringing all their dogs over, so we have like this menagerie. What do they call it? Not the gang. Maybe they call it the gang. I don't remember. The herd. That's what they call it. The herd. They're all way bigger than I am. Oops, sorry. I'm missing you. Is what I'm doing. Oh, I'm not missing you. I'm with you. Here we go. Um, One of the cousins just now, that Ooga you called, was one of my cousins asking if I'm awake. Of course I'm awake. I'm with you right now. Anyway, it is in fact National Tequila Day. Get those margaritas going. Yesterday was about comfort food. I mean, this whole trip is about love, cousins, and friends and comfort food. It's just like, it's just squishy. It's just okay. Here's what happened. I wanted something to munch on in the morning. It was about I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock, and all I'd had was my coffee, and I wanted something to eat. My cousin and I had to go run an errand, so I said, "Let's stop at Starbucks, and I'll get one of those little breakfast sandwiches." Except we stopped at Starbucks and they didn't have any breakfast sandwiches left. So he said, "There's a deli right around here." And my head exploded. A deli? I haven't been to a deli in so long. I mean, on the West Coast, we don't know what delis are. Delis only exist, I think, like real good delis. All right, you can argue with me, but I think they only happen in New York and Chicago. I could be wrong. Anyway, I went to a real deli. I'm not going to lie. It was like an invitation to the best party I've ever been to. I want one of those, and I'd like a small container of that, and a small container of that, and a small container of that. Hot salami sticks. Can I tell you about hot salami sticks? Not those little crummy packaged ones you buy. The fresh, hard, fresh and hard salami is kind of like a misnomer, right? Because hard salami means it's been out in the air getting hard, right? But hard salami sticks. They're just like, oh my God, so good. And fresh bagels and white fish salad and pickles and rugula and yeah, it was heaven. I'm not gonna lie. It was heaven. That's all I can tell you. So that was it yesterday. Today is tall and old jokes. Tall and old jokes, please. I don't even know what that means, and I'm not looking it up. It's also self-care day. Every day should be self-care day. That's what I say. But most important of all, besides Amelia Earhart Day, okay, she was famous. She made this big long airplane trip. I get it. And it's Cowboy Day. Okay, we love our cowboys. But most important today, it is like so perfect that this would be while I am here in Chicago. It's Cousins Day. And I'm with my cousins. Yeah. I call them Cuzzo, 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 and Cuzzo. Little Cuzzo, big Cuzzo. We all call each other Cuzzo. That's just the way it is. And I'm being with cousins every day, and I love my cousins. I was the oldest. Well, my brother's older than I am, but my family had kids first on both sides. So we were the grown-up cousins. And my closest cousin in age, the one I'm staying with, the one who's got big dogs, Jeff is like 9 years younger than I am, and he's the closest in age to me. So his children and his brother's children, to me, they're like my little nieces and nephew. Yeah, because I'm like, I'm the dowager aunt. It's so cool. I love it. So it's my cousins, but their kids are like my nieces. So yeah, it's like that. Ugh, I love family. It's also water gun fight day. Did I tell you about that ever before? So once, and it's so appropriate again because it started here in Chicago. Was bin number one and I were here in Chicago, and we'd been having water gun fights with my cousins who were little at the time, right? And when we left, one of the water guns went into our glove box. Sorry, I lost it for a minute. Anyway, one of the squirt guns went into the glove box, and we didn't think about it again. We waved goodbye to everybody and drove off, put the gun in the glove box, and took off on our adventure. And I guess a day or two later, we arrived in New York, and we were on the New York throughway. And we looked behind us. Now we have our big red Irish setter in the back of our little camper shell, but there's a window in between. So Dina, that was our dog, could, like jump back and forth. And I was in the passenger seat, and there's a cop behind us, a New York cop with his light on. So we pull over, and he comes out of his car with his gun drawn. Seriously, what could we have done that was that terrible, right? Dina, our Irish setter, being very protective, saw the cop coming toward us and immediately jumps from the back into the front, and the gun starts, and we're like all no, 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 no. And we calm the dog down, we calm the cop down. What did we do? Why why do you have a gun on us? What did we do? Apparently, someone in a car just like ours with a camper shell, the same color of ours, had been involved in a hit and run, had hit someone and left them for dead on the tollway or freeway or throughway or whatever you call that thing. So we had to wait while he checked us out to see if we were the ones who had done it. I can tell you right now, it wasn't us. Spoiler alert, he eventually let us go. But when he asked to see our driver's licenses and registration and all that stuff, and I hit the button on the glove box, and the glove box popped open, and a gun came out. Never mind that it was a squirt gun. He didn't know that at the time. It was like the most awful experience. We were stuck on the side of the road for probably an hour, hour and a half before he finally let us go. And he didn't think that the squirt gun was nearly as funny as we did. No, we actually thought it was pretty funny, but since he thought possibly we were murderers, it was not funny to him. So much for New York. Ugh, what an experience that was. In 1802, it was happy birthday to Alexandre Dumas. Yes, he's the French guy who wrote the Three Musketeers. So famous, right? But I actually included him in today's morning coffee because sometimes when I want to be French and I don't like someone or what they did, I say, "You are a Dumas." You figure it out, okay? It's a nice way of saying a nasty thing. You Dumas. Yes, you are a Dumas. Today in 2020, not that long ago, we lost the Guinness Book of World Records champion of how many hours you were on TV in your lifetime. And that would be Regis Philbin. Regis Philbin, much loved guy, right? Not by me, but we'll get to that in a minute. Regis Philbin was like a page at NBC. He ended up becoming this mega daytime talk show person. The first time I saw him, I'd gone to a taping of the old Joey Bishop show in Hollywood, and he was Joey Bishop's sidekick. Yeah, I mean, he had a stint on every big TV show there was ever. Back in about 1977, 78, something like that, 78. He had a show that was with a morning show that starred him, and this was before Kathy Lee or before Kelly Ripa. He had a sidekick whose name was Cindy Garvey, who you probably remember because she was on 10 million shows. She was I think the ex-wife, but the wife at the time of Steve Garvey, who was like the hottest baseball player going. Cindy was sweet. She was beautiful. And I was just like really getting my balloon company off the ground around that time, late 70s. And I was hired to go on stage and deliver balloons on the show to Cindy Garvey for her birthday. Pretty good gig, right? I mean, I'm like on what was at that time the number one morning show in LA. My business is in LA, and I get all dressed up with a velvet jacket and a top hat and play my kazoo and deliver and read my balloons. Get a mega plug for Balloon Affair. Like it was going to be like awesome, right? I was totally excited. Whoops, sorry, I got so excited just now, I knocked my computer down. Anyway, Regis was like the biggest jerk ever. I think he was really jealous that the balloons were for Cindy and not for him. He was insulting. He just wasn't nice. He wasn't nice. It still got my business started. And as you know, that business, short time later, I ended up doing over $1 million a year in the balloon business. Yeah, that was my claim to fame. For those of you who didn't know, I am the mother of the balloon decorating business, but I also did balloon deliveries. I would come in playing the kazoo, do, 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 and I would deliver these hand-painted balloons with funny sayings on them. Because I used to write gag lines for greeting card companies. So I would take my gag lines and I would put them on balloons. I would write them with felt pens on balloons and deliver these beautiful bouquets of balloons to people. Anyway, that's what I did on the Regis and Cindy show. And it was a big hit in terms of getting business for me, but he was mean and nasty. And I'm still sorry he died because he did make a lot of people very happy. So sorry you died, Regis Philbin. I didn't like you. That's it. That's all I want to say about him. What else? In 1911, Hiram Bingham of the US and I guess some local guy discovered Machu Picchu in the Peruvian Andes. That's like one of the few places that's on my somehow I got to see that before I go. My son and his fiance were there. Oh, and I saw the most beautiful pictures of it, but I want to hike up there. I want to go to Machu Picchu. Write that down. Sandye wants to go to Machu Picchu. That's all I can tell you. Okay. Ooh. Oh, and in 2005 was the 92nd Tour de France. There was no winner because Lance Armstrong was disqualified. Do you remember that whole terrible? Yeah, he was like he was doing drugs. I mean, what do you call that? He was doping. I don't know what else I think that's how you say it. Yeah. Lance Armstrong, who remember I didn't used to have one of those bracelets that said live strong. Yeah, because everybody wanted to like support Lance Armstrong. And then he gets caught with this and just like big cloud comes down over the Tour de France. See, we are on a French kick today. Lance Armstrong was a Dumas, clearly. 1965 was a big year for music. Ah, big year for music. What a great time to be in high school. That's all I can say. Yeah. 1965, Bob Dylan released Like a Rolling Stone. Yeah. And wait, there's more. The Animals hit number one on the British rock charts. Eric Burdon and the Animals. I actually saw them live a couple of times. Eric Burden, I've seen a number of times. I think he must live in the South Bay area or something because he used to play at Redondo Beach. They would set up a stage right on the beach, and there'd be gazillions of us there, like rocking the House of the Rising Sun. And oh, I love that song. I love that song. We gotta get out of this place if it's the last thing we ever do. All right. 65. It was a musical year. That's all there is to it. 65 was a one. I miss your comments, my friends. Where are you? Just send me like little private messages or something because I need to know you're with me here. All right. Word art for today. If you don't really, I mean like really want to know the answer, don't ask the question. That's the word art. It's some pretty good advice, but can we talk about it a little bit? Because I think it's worth talking about. Here's the thing. I think, first of all, that people tend to go to people whose opinion they can assume to ask a question to get the answer that they're looking for. I can't even count how many times I've said to people, I know why you asked me, because you know exactly what I'm going to say. And whether I agree with what they've been doing or not, the answer is usually, yeah, I kind of thought you'd say that. Well, that's why you asked me. You wanted to get that opinion. It's interesting to me how we assume what people are going to say and then go to the people whose opinion we are, and I'm telling you this like in quotes, ready to hear. Sometimes you go to people assuming that they're going to agree with you, and whatever you're doing is they're going to say it's the right thing to do. But there are other times when you're doing something and you know that's not the path you should be on. You have that feeling, but you like don't have the power. You can't seem to grab onto your own power and stop yourself. So you go to someone whose opinion you value and someone whose opinion you think is going to be just like yours. So you ask, oh, Stephen, thank you. Stephen just sent me a message that said, I'm watching. Thank you, Stephen. And I know Indy's there because I was talking to Indy right before I started. So at least I know my two guys are there. Thank you. But I see the numbers. I see there's quite a few more of you. However you say that, you know what I mean. I know you're out there. That's all I'm telling you. I know you're there. Anyway, so my advice for today is, first of all, before you ask a question, be prepared that the answer may or may not be what you expect it to be. But more important, be prepared to hear the answer. Like, just get it. Stephen brought something up this morning. I post the word art on What Do I Say, What Do I Do every morning at 4:44 a.m. California time, right? So I guess when I posted at 4:44 here, I guess California time, it's the middle of the night, right? Okay, anyway. So people get to read it before morning coffee and actually make comments, and we can talk about that right here. And Stephen's thing was that, yeah, but the way people listen today, it's more like they're just going to shut you off because if you don't agree with them, they think I think you used the word a kook, and they just write off whatever you say after that. Okay. My request is that those of us who are here and thinking about it, be the good example for them. Before you ask a question, even if you think you know how the other person is going to answer, listen to understand. You don't have to agree. Just listen to understand. Be the good example of what generous listening is. I did a whole day seminar on generous listening. It's a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. And it's one that I guess I need to work on. Indy tells me I'm not always a generous listener with him. Maybe it's harder to listen to someone you're very close to. I don't know. I'm working on it right now. But generous listening, listening to understand is incredibly valuable, not just for the other person, but for you as well. You might learn something new. Okay, Indy darling, hats off to you. I'm working on my listening. And my friends, I request that you do the same. In the meantime, tomorrow is Sunday. Stephen will be with me. We're going to the Buffalo restaurant and ice cream shop or something like that. We're going to have breakfast and talk to you right here. If you're in the Chicago area, come on over and have breakfast with us. I'd love that. Until then, I love big mutts and I cannot lie. I almost sang the real song. That was my snip and my smile. What were those spoonerisms? Right. But you can't really do it with sip and smile because they start the same way. All right. My friends, happy Saturday. I hope you're having a glorious day. I personally am going to be with some cousins today. And then this evening, I'm having dinner with my best friend from kindergarten, Marita. And just in case you're watching, I just want you to know that my day today is about you, my love. I can't wait to see you. Yay! See you guys then. See you tomorrow. I mean, not then. You won't be there with me later. I'll see you tomorrow, right here. Don't be late. Bye-bye.